Well, thanks for everybody that's joining us for our executive session in July. It's good to see everybody as we have become virtual. Is everybody ready for item number 1?
Are we going to compete for the least amount of comments again today?
It's all up to you, Robert.
Okay. I have no comments for the board this afternoon. Sarah is the lead project manager on the 2 cases that are on the agenda, so I'm going to turn it over to her to present those items.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila. Would the commission prefer to see slides or not see slides during executive session of the items?
Slides of the
2 items we'll be discussing.
Maybe in a simplified format, just so for those that didn't have a chance to look at it, we can all.
Okay, just the main. Okay, so the 2 projects that we have tonight, one is a wall sign for peddler bicycles now that has become acquired by Trek Bicycles, and the other project is for Pediatric Dental Group. They have now become the tenant of a building that was previously occupied by Toyo's Clinic, and they want to do a facade refresh. So the first one, I will just bring up the slide here, show you. Hopefully it'll work for me. All right. Can you see the peddler bikes sign? Yes. Okay. Yes. So this is what's there now. This is the elevation that they have. They actually occupy 2 bays. And then this is the sign that they are proposing. This is in the Exeter Village Shopping Center. At the Exeter Village Shopping Center, this sign policy says that if they use any font other than Helvetica, it requires DRC approval. That's one reason why it's before you. They would like to use their corporate font. The other reason they are coming before you is per our city sign ordinance. It says that any products or services that if those are requested to be listed on a wall sign, that it first comes before you and for your review and approval. So the actual business name is Trek, and on the business license, it is Trek Bicycles Germantown. They would like to have Trek and then bikes service gear. That's what they would like on their wall sign. The color of the sign is in keeping with what is in the shopping center, what is required of all the signs in the shopping center. The size is also in keeping with what is allowed in the shopping center. So the 2 main reasons why it's before you are 1, for the corporate font, and that is just because the sign policy dictates that. And then 2, they would like the products and services. That's it.
Thank you, Sarah. I do believe we've deviated from the font in this small before, haven't we?
Correct. Actually, most of the ones we've approved recently have been corporate fonts.
And I do believe we've also started to include some of the offerings for other signs as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'd be open to see if anyone had any other comments, knowing that we have approved similar signs in similar situations.
It seems like this sign takes up a lot more of the storefront than the previous sign, but in reading with the staff comments, it looks like they're still within a couple feet of what they're allowed. Is that correct?
Correct. So I'm going to go back to the other slide. As you see here, they occupy 2 bays. Mm-hmm. So they have 70 square feet of allowable sign area, and they're nowhere near that. But they are occupying more of that band than the previous band.
Of the 1 space. Okay.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing about, I know there are main entries under this sign.
It's actually over to the right. It's actually the other bay, the main entry.
Oh, okay. But nothing to discuss in that regard, I guess, as far as sign placement.
No. Actually, I'm not entirely sure after I said that. Maybe it is right under that sign.
Under the S.
Pardon, Christopher?
I said, I believe it's under the S of the bikes,
Yeah, after I
because I
said that,
think
yeah.
all their back house service stuff, their mechanics and stuff are gonna, to the right.
Okay, you're fading in and out, Christopher. So you get closer to your mic, maybe.
I just want everybody talking about it. Hi, everyone.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Jackson. This is the applicant for the Trek signs. He is the sign vendor. So, Mr. Jackson, right now we're just in our executive session where we discuss it, and then at 6 o'clock I'll.
I got you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind, if you just could mute yourself until calling on you after 6, that would be great.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome
much.
to just thank you. Any other questions about the Trek sign?
And the bike service and gear. Say that again on how we're reviewing that in the past. I know if it's like part of their name, I think that's the way I thought I remembered it.
So signs in the city sign ordinance, it says that if sign shall contain the name of the business and with approval by design review commission may contain the address, hours, dates, instructions, primary products, and services. So with your approval, they can include primary products and services. An example that we did recently was the Profile Sanford, the weight management clinic. There was also a popcorn shop, gourmet popcorn.
Warehouse, the warehouse over off Forest Hill.
Correct. Warehouse 67, that was home furnishings and designs.
Okay. And no issues with backlighting or anything like that?
This is the halo lit reverse channel letters that is required by the shopping center.
Okay.
Aluminum letters.
Well, good. Does anyone feel this should be on consent?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Second.
Okay, that would be good. Can move that to consent then. So let's see. So Ms. Regina, this would become item 4A then? Okay. I believe you're right. Okay. All right. Are you ready to discuss the next item?
Yes, please.
All right. So the next item before you is pediatric dental group. I did want to let you know that I had contact with the applicant when the application was received, and that however I didn't receive confirmation if he can come tonight or not. So the applicant may not be here tonight, but I had spoken with them before about the application. So this is on Germantown Road. It's the former Toyos Clinic. It is now going to be occupied by Germantown, by Pediatric Dental Group. What they would like to do is they would like to do a facade refresh. And they had already received an administrative approval from the planning division for an installation of a new door and windows to match, or no, just a new door, installation of a new exterior entrance doors and to match what is existing there. Right now, what they would like to do, here's the color scheme. They would like to paint the stucco beige, the brick pearly white, and then the trim to match what the roof is seaworthy. And they provided an example of a building in Germantown with this color palette. So unfortunately, the drawing's a little grainy, but here you can see the brick is painted that pearly white. The area around the windows and the dormers and at the front entrance is that accessible beige, and then the trim is the seaworthy. So just to give you a frame of reference going back, this that upper band, this up stucco would be the pearly white, the brick would be the stucco would be the accessible beige, the the brick that's just now red would become pearly white. And then the trim around the roof and at the peaks of the roof, that would then become seaworthy to match what is on the building as roof right now.
Very good. Thank you again. Seems simple enough to me. I mean, the painting is the only facade change, correct?
Facade change only. They, I have been working with them on a preliminary sign. They do want to upgrade their signs, obviously, for their business, but they didn't have that ready to submit at this time.
Sarah, you want to mention the fact that you have not heard from the applicant, so we're not sure if he's going to be.
Yeah, I already mentioned that at the beginning before I presented. Yeah. So I did talk with him before when preparing the application, but I didn't get confirmation if he can attend tonight or not.
Are they moving to this building from their current location?
They are moving to this from Wolf River Circle to this location. Yes.
And are we saying that the roof is that same green that the trim's going to be? Because in looking at it, it looks significantly different.
Or
Christopher, what did you say?
or are they planning to paint the roof?
Yeah, if they were painting that metal roof, that'd be great. But I didn't know if that was something different.
We can make that a condition of approval to follow up with them, because I agree with you, it should match.
Yeah, the current roof is faded, so that might be part of their plan, is for the roof to be painted with that, but I just don't know.
We can make that a condition of approval that the roof be painted to match the trim.
Is that possible on a metal roof like that? Christopher may know.
Sure.
The same.
Oh, Christopher, we can't hear you.
Christopher, you may want to switch to headphones or a headset of some kind.
We could, if it's not, we'll hear from Mr. Schmidt in a minute. If it's not feasible to paint it, we could make sure that the color be adjusted so that it matches if it's not exactly that seaworthy.
Yeah, just to make sure that the same color.
Well, and I don't intend to create more of an issue here. I was just trying to understand if that proposed color was supposed to be the same as the roof or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can you hear me? Is this better?
Yes, it's better. Yes.
All right. No, just the same question that Robert had is, what is the intent? Because it sounded like they were trying to use that color to match the existing roof color, or in terms of the way you explained it, Sarah. So in terms of painting it, I know it can be done. I just, I'm not 100% sure on the longevity, just because I haven't gone through a project with the client to do that. Usually those have like a Kynar, hard factory paint finish on it. Didn't the shopping center on Poplar, what is that, where Stacks and did they paint some of their roofs recently?
Germantown Village Square. Sheila,
Yes,
do you recall?
they actually did. There was, when they did the facade change, I think it was 2015, where they were changing the color from that beachy, orangey color that they had, and they were making some changes. Part of they did have some kind of metal type copings or things that they painted.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably a little bit more extensive. That's the whole roof. So let's just I could find out what their intention is, because it seemed like they were trying to pick a color that sort of matched the existing roof, even though this picture may be a little washed out.
Okay.
There are some other pictures in the packet with less sunlight on the roof itself, and it does appear a deeper green.
Actually, I'm sorry. I just read it here. It says the existing dark green trim would be painted a similar green tone, namely seaworthy. So that darker green that goes along the roof line is what they're saying they're going to paint but they're not saying it matches the roof. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
It's exactly what Sarah said.
Well, then I got certain that I maybe didn't forgot something.
Hey, we're just trying to kill time at this point, so.
Okay.
That's
Well, so
correct.
the question is this something that the board would also consider moving to consent?
I would agree with that. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, then this will become item 4B then. And I'm going to stop presenting now since we're done discussing our two items.
Wonderful.
Okay.
We have 15 minutes for current events.
We do have one application already for August, and we may have a few others. The deadline isn't until tomorrow. So as of right now, it's looking like we may have an August meeting. And Sheila, through the end of August, we are still doing virtual meetings, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so the August DRC meeting will be in this format again.
Once we all get the hang of it, then we'll go back to chamber.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We can't go back to in-person meetings until my kids go back to school.
Actually, we will be sending a survey asking about coming to an in-person meeting, so hold that point.
Yeah.
Well, we only can have half as many commissioners there because we have to be 6 feet apart. Or we'll have to stage.
There goes the quorum, right?
Yeah.
It'll be over in November.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said in June?
Well,
I said 6 weeks, so back in time.
oh, wow. Oh.
You said what?
6 weeks. 6 weeks. It's just a little bug going to work its way through. We'll be back to normal in no time.
Yeah, until the kids get back together and start a new one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's called the flu.
Did you receive either through a listserv from the city or through your neighborhood groups, did you receive a survey asking about public health and COVID, if you would go back to restaurants and that? Did any of you receive that survey?
I did.
You did, Mr. Carney?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it, Sarah.
Mr. McLean, okay, you got it as well? Okay.
I didn't receive anything.
You didn't? Okay. I wonder if they're going to put it on the upfront to try to push it out more. I know it went out to the neighborhood organizations, and they were trying to gauge people's feeling of safety and health and going out. It was asking about masking and whether or not you'd visit a restaurant and feel comfortable, and whether or not you visit Germantown businesses. So I will follow up with Mr. Nunes and see how that was pushed out.
Yeah, I got it up front.
Pardon?
It was on the up front, and
It was on the upfront?
yeah, that's where I saw it. So that's where I filled it out.
Okay. Well,
Just this past week or weeks ago?
Yeah, just recently.
okay. Let me look at my email.
It would have been in Fridays up front. I wasn't sure.
You are correct. It is in the Friday up front, the weekly email blast that comes out from the communications people in Germantown. Yeah, it's at the bottom, public health quiz. So if you haven't had a chance to take it yet, I would recommend taking it so they can help gauge for businesses how to continue to open.
Was the sidewalk sale effective at all? That was just last weekend. I was out of town. But I didn't hear anything either way. I just saw the advertisements for it.
We hadn't gotten any feedback on the sidewalk sale yet, but for all intents and purposes, we've been allowing merchants to function in sidewalk sale mode minus the big balloons since April, since the beginning of phase 2.
Okay.
Has each of you filled out your self-response census
Oh, yes.
form?
Census, yes.
Is that yes from everyone? We're at 80.6% self-response rate
I mean,
as
that's a
of
good.
yesterday.
Yes, I filled mine out.
Make sure everyone you come in contact with, that you speak with, that are Germantown residents, have also done the same. We are pushing to try to hit as close to 90% as we can.
Yeah, I filled mine out time ago.
But we know Forest has.
Alderman
Right,
Owens knows that we do not want to do a special census, right, Ms. Alderman?
Yes, that is correct. It is not a lot of fun.
Does that mean you get to go door to door?
After the census people go door to door, it's a follow-up to the regular census. I think Alderman Owens got to participate in one when he worked for the city.
That is correct.
So we've been undercounted for years.
What's the highest percentage in years past or whatever? I guess, what is it, every 10 years?
The information we have now is only about the self-reporting, and the previous, in 2010, self-reporting was at 81%. So we got a little bit of a ways to go, and self-reporting will go on until the end of October because of COVID. But in addition to self-reporting right now, at the beginning of July, we did start having door knockers in the community, and they will be knocking on doors for people that have not reported. So you shouldn't get anyone knocking on your door if you've already reported.
All right, I just forwarded the upfront email that has the survey in it for those that would be interested.
Thank you for doing that.
Right now.
And if you don't subscribe to the upfront, I recommend doing it. It has weekly news that might be of interest.
That hand sanitizer question is a little tricky because, for example, I haven't left my house in 2 days. So. All right, one more done. Yeah, washing my hands 20 times a day in my own house may be a little excessive. There might be some other underlying issues.
Christopher, what are the private schools doing? What's your son's school doing?
So Carter goes to Houston, and Xander's is a junior at St. Benedict, and they are doing 100% on campus or virtual.
Okay.
So they haven't gone to a hybrid system yet. I think they start next Wednesday, Thursday, or half days based on the grade, and then I think everyone goes Friday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they've changed their mechanical systems. They've put, beyond just filters, they've put some other. I haven't gone back to see what they did, but some other. It was a UV or something in part of the return air. I think every child is supposed to wash at the end of the class period. They're supposed to sanitize the desk. They've put little protective coverings in these little 4-person pods within the lunchroom. So, I mean, they're also a little bit of an advantage just because the class sizes are smaller as well.
Mhm.
So, but I haven't heard what the percentage of in-person versus virtual is right now. And I know what Germantown today is the last day to decide if you're doing hybrid or virtual. It'll be interesting. We may all be hanging out with our kids more in a couple of weeks.
Yes. Just a tip again for the meeting, once we go live at 6 o'clock, if you're not speaking, if you could please have your mic turned off. Camera on, that's good, but yeah, your mic off, and then when it's your turn to speak, turn your mic back on.
Also, Sarah, we might want to cover that no background noise would help, like no TVs and stuff on would be awesome too.
Correct.
For the quality of the video.
Yeah, hopefully children know to stay away for the next couple minutes. So.
Hey, Paul, what's your daughter? What's going on for Ohio? Ohio State, sorry.
I would say we're getting strung along. We started with 5 classes. Well, anybody with 40 students or more in a class went directly online. And her major, fortunately, it was fewer numbers per class, or fewer students per class. It started off 5 for 5. We're now currently at 2 of 5 in person. I think the universities are trying to figure out a way to get students on campus so that they can afford to keep the housing open and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a late decision. I don't know when that's going to be, but her roommates and everything else have started all over. The whole process started completely over about 2 weeks ago. Very disruptive, to say the least. So we'll see.
Mr. Harrelson, welcome. I see you've joined us. Mr. Harrelson is the applicant for Pediatric Dental Group. We're going to go live with our meeting at 6 o'clock, but we're just wrapping up our executive session. And your item was fortunate to be placed on consent agenda, so it should hopefully be a very quick meeting for you. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you for notifying me. I've got like 10 kids around me, so I will do my best to listen in, but you may not hear much from me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, do they all have perfect teeth?
Smile, Dottie. Pretty good.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a minute or so, I suppose.
And Sarah, did you want to handle the disclaimer, or do you want me to do that again?
You are so well versed in it. I will just leave that to you. Thank you.
Okay. Paul, just give me a couple seconds to give our disclaimer for electronic meetings once you call us to order.
I will do it before roll call or right after?
Before roll call.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay, Chairman Bruns, we're a go.
Thank you, Regina. I'd like to welcome everyone to our July 28th meeting of the DRC for the City of Germantown virtually. Cameron, please explain our situation or rules for video meetings?
Thank you, Chairman Bruns. As you no doubt know at this point, all local governing bodies in the state of Tennessee have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and Germantown is no exception. In an effort to carry out its governance and operational responsibilities lawfully and effectively, while also considering the protection of public health, safety, and welfare, the Germantown City Administration has taken steps to conduct the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting and other public meetings electronically, including the Design Review Commission. These actions were taken in response to Governor Bill Lee's Executive Order number 51, which extended the Executive Order number 16, previously extended by Executive Order number 34, which suspended the requirements of the Tennessee Open Meetings Act to the extent necessary to allow governing bodies subject to the act to meet and conduct essential business by electronic means. The Germantown Board of Mayor and Aldermen has determined that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this again includes the Design Review Commission. Further, notice of such electronic meetings has been and will continue to be published in the same manner as currently used for regular meetings. The public is also and will continue to be able to view the agenda and have live access to the actual meeting by electronic means by logging into the city's webpage and clicking the appropriate link. Video recordings of the meetings will be made available as soon as practicable after each meeting on the city's website at www.germantown-tn.gov. These measures are temporary and are due to expire on August 29th, 2020, unless further action is taken by Governor Lee. Thank you, Chairman Bruns.
Thank you, Cameron. I would now like to establish a quorum. So, Regina, will you please call roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Kumar? Mr. Kumar? Mr. Sloan?
Here.
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Sherman?
Here.
Mr. Carney?
Here.
Alderman Owens?
Here.
Chairman Bruns?
Here. We do have a quorum. Thank you, Regina. And it is now time to approve our minutes from the last time we were all together on May 26th. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from May 26th.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Please call roll.
Alderman Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Carney?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Sloan?
Yes.
Mr. Kumar?
Yes.
Chairman Bruns?
Yes. The minutes are approved from our May 26th meeting, and that would bring us to item number 4 on our agenda, which is the consent agenda. During executive session, we had added 2 items, the 2 items on our agenda to the consent agenda. 4A, Trek Bicycle Germantown, for the approval of a wall sign, and 4B, the Pediatric Dental Group, for the approval of the building modification. Is there any commissioners or I guess we don't have an audience, but the applicants, I guess, that would like to remove any of these items from the consent agenda? Nobody's speaking up, so I would say I'd like to remind all of you that voting on the consent agenda, you're agreeing to each of the cases that we've listed, and you've read and reviewed each of the applications with staff, and have determined no further discussion is necessary. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda for Trek Bicycle wall sign and pediatric dental exterior building modifications.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Very good. Very good. Regina, please call roll.
Okay. Mr. Carney,
Yes.
Alderman Owens,
Yes.
Ms. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Mr. Sloan,
Yes.
Mr. Kumar,
Yes.
Chairman Bruns.
Yes. The consent agenda has passed. Both items are a go. I don't believe there's any new or old business before us. So we're officially adjourned. But I do look forward to our meeting in August virtually, perhaps, and hopefully for the last time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.